and welcome to the Be Fairy Afraid podcast with me, Louise Atkinson.
And me, Fiona Ridgewell. And we thought it would be fun to share all the original ye-olde myths, legends and fairy tales that we've been talking about over way too many drinks at the pub.
Yeah, we thought it would be so much better than looking at the boring, sweet, safe versions we're all used to, and we thought it would be much more fun to dig into the dark, original and sordid fairy tales of the past. So much more fun.
Yep. Everything from scary trolls, tiny fairies, mythical gods, and that guy that just won't leave your house.
Oh, why won't he leave?
We're covering it all.
So, to kickstart this podcast episode, we thought we'd quote one of the best storytellers and writers of our time, Jean-Baptiste Basile, when he said from his fairy tale, The Enchanted Doe,
"Shut your mouths and open your ears and hear what I shall tell you."
And wait for him in his EastEnders cameo, coming too soon. Off we go.
Friends on a quest, putting these fairy tales to the test, talking all things magical, mystical, but sometimes not very sophistical. Be very afraid, someone actually wrote this story down. Be very afraid, why are all the women wearing massive gowns? Why is he kissing her without her consent? What on earth is going on? Will they figure it out what this story's all about? Oh, be very afraid.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. How's it going?
How is it going? What have I done today?
Well, you came in singing the Shrek soundtrack.
Oh my God. Do you know what? I thought, get in the mood, listen to there's a lot of traffic, listen to an hour and a half worth of the Shrek musical.
Oh, yeah, to be fair, you did have to specify to me because I went the soundtrack and you got really defensive and went, the musical. And I was like, oh, I'm so terribly sorry. I didn't know there was a difference.
Did you never see the musical at Drury Lane?
Of course it was at Drury Lane. And no, not my buttons.
Not my buttons.
I said, your buttons.
The old man at Drury Lane. Oh yeah, of course it's at Drury Lane. Oh yeah.
Oh, fuck me.
And I'm the one that saw it. That one went over my head.
Did you just think I was just cracking on doing the gingerbread impression for no reason? Like, she's fucking lost it. And then you just joined in and then put the pieces together.
I just assumed Drury Lane was your favourite theatre in London.
Yeah, I love it.
All the good ones are at Drury Lane.
Are they? Oh,
no,
you just thought
that was your opinion. I saw Frozen there. Oh my God, I saw Frozen there. I'm 37 now. I must have been 36 on New Year's Eve alone. I saw Frozen.
Get in the bin. You went to see Frozen on your own. I mean, whilst I'm very respectful of living your independent best life, the fucking state of that. What were you doing?
Well, I think I was very lonely by that time. And I thought it's weirder to go out to a nightclub or something on a New Year's Eve where people might grab me and sort of like wish me Happy New Year and I'd have to interact with human beings.
Got you, yeah.
Whereas where I could just sit alone in a theatre surrounded by 3,000 children that went to
Oh
see.
my Christ.
It was a bit of a mistake actually because it was
Really?
it was. I enjoyed the show. Don't get me wrong.
Mm.
But it was the matinee and the kids didn't have the attention span, whereas weirdly I did.
Right.
But I started doing loads of stuff on my own. Do you do a lot on your own?
Oh, I love being on my own. I despise people, but I probably would cut off at going to see Frozen on my own.
Right.
No judgment, but also massive judgment. Actually, no, the reason there's the judgment is because you voluntarily chose to go to a matinee show, which is so clearly for children.
No, it's not a different before. It's not interactive or anything.
No, but like you're taking a kid to an afternoon show, aren't you? You aren't going, hey kid, let's go to this 9 p.m. one.
Yeah, well, the thing is, actually, Louise, they don't do an evening performance on New Year's Eve because, weirdly, other people have got other shit to do.
Well, what a fool I look. I'm so glad you've showed me up here.
So I had to go to the 2 p.m.
Right.
But yeah, I did something else on my own the other day. Involuntary, really. I went to see, my friend is in something called Rock Orchestra.
Oh, yeah, I know this friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's a comedian, Faye Tracy.
Yeah.
Hello, Faye. And she's in Rock Orchestra. She plays the trombone.
It's very
I don't know why. I
Which
just
you're
mind
acting out
giving
there.
blowjobs.
Yeah, it's the same vibe.
Plays the trombone. And, I went with another friend. And at the interval, she was like, I've got to leave to get my train. I was like, I'm having a fucking lovely time. I'm going to stay. I was sober. I was like rocking out on my own to Rock Orchestra. Just having I think I don't know. I think I've settled into my own personality. I think I can be with myself now.
The fact that you have to really grasp at things you've done on your own really illustrates to me how little you do on your own. Like, if you asked me to list what I do on my own, we wouldn't have enough time.
Have you holidayed on your own?
Yep.
Where have you holidayed?
I went to Madrid on my own.
Madrid.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you gone further or alone?
Well, I used to have a job where I used to have to travel around a lot, so I had to go and live in places, and I'd have to go and do it on my own. But then you'd be working there, so you just make friends and stuff. But I had to do that on my own.
Oh, I feel like even when I do things on my own, I don't make friends. Do you make friends? You make new friends? I feel like
But we have the opposite problem, because you go in search of friends. I go in search of no one, and everybody surrounds me like rats and doesn't leave me alone. I'm like, why can't you just leave me be? And they're like, you seem friendly. I'm like, I seem like I hate life. Why are you bothering coming near me and fiddling up my time? It pisses me off. So we have like the opposite problem.
Yeah, oh, poor Louise Atkinson, so popular. Oh, what a diabolical problem.
I don't know what it is. It absolutely drives me insane. I cope with it, and people need to leave me be. Comedians do it in green rooms all the time. I'll go into a green. I don't want to be spoken to before my gig. You know this. I've tried with you, and you're one of the ones who comes up and speaks to me. I'm like, what do you want? I'll be sat there. I'll have massive headphones on. I'll have a book out, either a notebook or an actual physical book. And people go, ooh, Lou looks amenable. Let's go and talk to her. And one of them wanders up, and then the rest swarm round me like a plague of lurkers. And then everybody's talking around me. I was like, what part of all of this made you think Lou wants a conversation? Because I didn't.
We're quite different personalities,
We are.
aren't we? And
We
I
are.
think that's where this podcast has come from.
And honestly, I didn't know I was that angry about it. I knew I was upset.
So I found out at the same time as you. I wish I hadn't found out at the same time as you.
I'm so sorry, but here we are.
We're holding on to the desk.
It's good that we get these things out in the open.
Oh, yeah, great.
Right. Do you want to know what story we're doing this week?
Yes, please.
Oh, good, because if you had said no, it would have ruined the podcast.
You got your little old smelly book there.
And do you like? I got my laptop stand, so now I've got like a fancy book stand.
Oh,
Do you like it?
yeah, very sexy.
I know, I thought so. Brothers Grimm.
Yep.
Very, very ye olde, very famous fairy tale tellers.
Okay.
And yeah, basically they're one of the probably most well-known people for writing really more honest, truthful, grim versions of fairy tales. You're gonna love it, babe.
I don't like honest and grim.
And yet here we are as friends.
How are we together? Louise Atkinson, honest and grim. Lovely.
The title of my biography, soon to be out on shelves near you. So Brothers Grimm, mostly linguistic scholars.
Yep.
And what's interesting is the story we're doing this week, Clever Elsie. In the first version they did, this story wasn't in it. It was actually another version of it which they cut out and replaced it with this one.
Why was it too dark?
No, it was actually shorter. But what was interesting is it wasn't Clever Elsie. The woman in it had a different name. And I actually think it's one of either Jakob or Wilhelm's exes. And they were like, let's show this woman up. And I think they changed it. I think.
I've done podcasts like that. And
where you showed people up.
Where I've mentioned exes. And I thought you shouldn't have done that. I wish I could go back and rewrite them, re-record them, but I can't. They're out there. They're out there in the ether. And they'll know that it's them. Do you know what I mean? So if I do that in this one,
because
please do shush me.
Name them and give their Instagram tag in the podcast.
I don't think I do, but I really relate directly to exact situations where it couldn't have been anyone else. And like there's probably like on my Instagram, there's probably a photo that shows that I was with that person at that place.
I understand the problem.
So apologies to all of my ex-lovers.
I apologise to your exes. You
I
don't
called
have to
them
do
lovers.
They call them lovers? Like you're an 18th century madam, my previous lovers.
Oh, you dirty little lovers. Is this one erotic?
No.
Or any of them?
Possibly. Depends what gets you off, to be fair.
Well, let's see. Maybe it is erotic.
Yeah. Right. Do you want to get started?
Yeah, please.
Right. Here we go. Brothers Grimm, Clever Elsie. I'm gonna have to do some voices in this.
Okay.
Just to brace
Choose
it.
wisely.
Wouldn't it be so interesting if we got cancelled in episode 1?
Yeah, as I was going to say, this is the first episode. Please be careful
Right.
with the voices.
Here we go. There was once a man who had a daughter who was called Clever Elsie.
It's not going to be erotic.
intelligence can be very erotic. What is your problem? And when she had grown up, her father said, "We will get her married." He was like, "Let's crack on." Right?
Wish my dad had said that about me. I've just gone for it, just married me off. But okay.
"Yes," said the mother. "If only anyone would come who would have her." That's a good mother-daughter relationship right there, isn't it?
That does sound like my mum.
Oh, yeah, sorry. The original name of this was Clever Fiona. You're right. That's what was changed.
I'm pretty sure there's no folktale out there called Clever Fiona.
Well, to be fair, we don't know if it's being sarcastic yet, so let's
Oh,
stop it.
okay, might be, yeah.
At length, a man came from a distance and wooed her, who was called Hans. But he
It's
stipulated...
called Hans.
Well, they're German, aren't they, Brothers Grimm?
Oh, right.
So,
There weren't many names knocking about.
yeah, it's like Hans, Jakob, Wilhelm,
So you just named the three that you know.
Gus.
Okay, sorry. So Hansy.
Yeah, Hansy! He's there. He stipulated that Clever Elsie should be really wise. "Oh," said the father, "she's sharp enough." And the mother said, "Oh, she can see the wind coming up the street and hear the flies coughing." Which, very traditional phrase and obviously not weird in any way. Mother's definitely not smacked off her tits. Right, I need a voice for Hans.
Well, he's quite German, isn't he? You said.
Do a German accent.
Wie heißt du?
I'm sorry.
Is that German?
It sounded German. What does it mean?
Was it? Wie heißt du?
I don't know
know actually. I
French.
wish I hadn't said it. Guten Tag.
Guten Tag.
Guten Tag.
Guten Tag. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, said Hans.
Oh wow, you're really up
Oh,
that.
he's gone quite camp actually. I didn't see this happening.
You
I think it's
surprised
because-
yourself.
I think it's because the only one I think of is, do you know Etna from The Incredibles?
Oh yeah.
That's what I'm channeling. 'Cause it was either that,
You are channeling that.
or the only other German I could think of was Alan Rickman from Die Hard.
Oh right, is he German? I haven't seen Die Hard.
German,
Saw
isn't
Die Hard 3.
What do you mean you've not seen Die Hard?
Please don't thump the table. Saw Die Hard 3, and I figured I didn't need
Who
one.
jumps
And
to 3?
me and my mum both do that. We'll skip episodes of things like she.
Famously, the originals are the best one, and you go, no, we'll go to the traditionally terrible ones of 3.
Well, because if 3's good, then
Which
I'll
it
definitely
usually
go back
isn't.
to 1. And if it's not, I think, well, they weren't worth seeing.
Well, in Die Hard, the original, Alan Rickman's in it, and he has one of my favourite lines in cinematic history because it's just so unbelievably sarcastic. He's just killed all these people in this building, and he just comes out and he's like, "Sadly, Mr. Tiagi will not be joining us for the rest of his life." And then he just turns around and goes back into the office, and I was like, "Oh, it's my dream, man!" It's great. But I'm going for Etna.
Okay.
It seems to be the only one I can do, so I do apologise. Hans is going to be a very, very camp.
You do you.
Well, said Hans, if she is not really wise, I won't have her. Wow, he got camper during this.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, let's hold our reception at GOY, darling. Let's go. Come on. Knock hips.
Have you ever seen Rock of Ages?
No.
Don't worry about it then. Carry on.
When they were sitting at dinner and had eaten, the mother said, "Elsie, go into the cellar and fetch some beer." Then Clever Elsie took the pitcher from the wall, went into the cellar and clapped the lid up and down as she went to pass the time. When she was below, she fetched herself a chair and set it before the barrel so that she had no need to stoop and did not hurt her back or do herself an unexpected injury. Smart. She's like, I ain't pouring this and bending over the whole time. I'm going to sit myself down and just turn the tap and wait for it to fill up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'd rank her top of the class yet.
Well, I wouldn't say that's a Mensa move, but I'd say that's got common sense to it. No?
But he didn't say, "Oh, she has to have common sense."
It's a fair point. Then she placed the can before her and turned the tap. And while the beer was running, she would not let her eyes be idle, but looked up at the wall and after much peering here and there, saw a pickaxe exactly above her, which the masons had accidentally left there. Which I think's weird, right? Because in ye olde times, a stonemason, which is the mason I'm presuming she's referring to.
I'm glad we cleared that up because I
Right.
didn't have a clue. I thought it was the Freemasons. I thought, fuck yeah, I've been around a long time.
They've left
haven't
their special handshake behind, haven't they? Using a pickaxe now. But as a stonemason, you would need a pickaxe. And they ain't coming around freely. So who's just casually leaving his pickaxe, going, don't bother me, I've got an abundance of pickaxes.
Oh, right.
I think it's careless. Or they should have returned it.
Okay. Can I see if it reveals itself, the pickaxe?
To be a magic pickaxe.
Probably starts talking in
Like
a
a
minute.
really low budget Thor instead of a hammer. It's just a pickaxe. Right. Then Clever Elsie began to weep and said, "If I get Hans and we have a child and he grows big and we send him into the cellar here to draw beer, then the pickaxe will fall on his head and kill him."
What I'd say to Clever Elsie
Mm.
is this should have been called Anxious Elsie. Because she's gone so fucking
It
far
is
ahead in her life.
A massive escalation. Like Hans has just walked in.
She's just rocked up.
Gay as the day is long. And here she's gone down to get a beer. They must have had, 5 minutes of conversation. And she's gone, but what if we get married and have a kid? And he comes down here at this exact moment to pick up this beer and a pickaxe falls and cuts his head like an orange.
Literally had the same conversation with my boyfriend the other day.
About you being attacked by a pickaxe.
I was like, I'm moving into the flat, but then what if...
Hang on, did you tell your boyfriend you were moving into his flat? He didn't get a say in it.
No, we discussed that I'm moving in. I am moving in, but then I'll bring up a conversation every weekend. Like, so when I move in, what if this happens? And then when we buy a house, and we're like, well, how about we just see how this bit goes? Because already we've bought a 4-bedroom house on Rightmove. We haven't even stayed in a 1-bedroom flat yet. I know, we're very ambitious.
Let's not use we, shall we? There's one person in that relationship who's doing all of that and one person who is there. That's what's happening. Let's not kid ourselves.
All right, Anxious Elsie, tell us more.
Then she sat and wept and screamed with all the strength of her body over the misfortune which lay before her. I just think it's a bit much.
That's a panic attack.
Well, is it a panic or is it just a very big knobhead of a woman? Hold
on, isn't she a child? Have you forgotten she's a child?
Yeah, but she's about to get married. No, she's a daughter. That doesn't mean she's a child. It just means that she's the daughter.
Right, well, you've got to figure out what she is because
she is?
A minute ago, she was so clever for getting a chair. If that's a 30-year-old woman, pick a lane.
I think you can have common sense at any age. Is always appreciated. As somebody who's had to work with people, I can assure you it's a very rare thing for people of any age to have is common sense. So if she had it, of any age that she may be, young or old, I applaud her for it.
Okay.
Right.
Should we give her an age? Should we say 20?
Let's go 20s.
And then we'll judge her on that age,
right.
That made-up age.
Well, as a 20-year-old, I think she's being a whingy little bitch. So, here we go.
Strong stance again. Strong
Does my
stance.
head in. Here we go. Those upstairs waited for the drink, but Clever Elsie still did not come. Then the woman said to the servant, "Just go down to the cellar and see where Elsie is."
Sorry, I don't want to keep interrupting, although that is the point of the podcast.
Yeah.
If they've got a servant,
why didn't they send her in the first
why
place?
is Elsie going down there at all?
Great question.
That's that's like when my mum gets me to do the dishes. I'm like, we have a dishwasher.
I thought you were going to say, we have a servant.
We have a servant.
It's my
Karen,
boyfriend.
Have you forgotten about the servant in the spare room?
I was like, bloody hell, you've gone up in the well, didn't
No,
you?
we've got a dishwasher, but she'll be like, do the dishes. I say, can we not just put that in the... we've got a dishwasher. And she'll
Can you
say-
not load the dishwasher?
She don't like to use the dishwasher because it's wasting water.
So why have the dishwasher?
Ask Karen, I don't fucking know. We've had this argument enough. I need to stop swearing. We've had that argument enough. Anyway, so
right.
she's got a servant.
The
Who's
maid,
getting paid for absolutely nothing, apparently.
right. The maid went and found her sitting in front of the barrel, screaming loudly. Right.
Soundproof basement, is it?
Well, let's hope so. Oh, yeah, it must be if they can't hear her. I need a voice for the maid. Oh, she can just be from Yorkshire. Elsie, why do you weep? Asked the maid. Oh, she answered, have I not reason to weep? If I get Hans and we have a child and he grows big and has to draw beer here, the pickaxe will perhaps fall on his head and kill him. Then the maid said, what a clever Elsie we have, and sat down beside her and began loudly to weep over the misfortune. So now the maid's cracking on and on.
Oh, yeah. What is it called? She's...
A liability.
No, when someone encourages a behaviour that they should not.
Annoying.
Well, she's encouraging that behaviour and I don't think she should have. Also, I think the Brothers Grimm have got a word count.
I agree.
That's how I wrote my dissertation.
You just copy and pasted.
And then she said, did I mention she said this?
You wrote like a gossip column.
Yeah.
After a while, as the maid did not come back, those upstairs were thirsty for the beer, and man said to the boy, Just go down to the cellar and see where Elsie and the girl are. The boy went down, and there sat clever Elsie and the girl both weeping together. Then he asked, "Why are you weeping?" "Ah," said Elsie, "have I not reason to weep?" Again, see this exactly.
Who's the boy?
Another servant, or just boy
Oh, we
passing by.
Right, we don't know his relation. Full.
If I get Hans, we have a child. He grows big and has to draw beer here. The pickaxe will fall
on his head
and kill him. Then said the boy, "What a clever Elsie we have," and sat down by her and likewise began to howl loudly. So the thing is they're not just like having a little bit of a weep. They're full on howling.
And they're just not identifying the situation correctly.
Yeah.
She's not clever. She's having a breakdown.
She is not a well woman.
Not a well woman.
Nobody reacts this badly to a fake situation. And if they do, they deserve to be in a basement, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Upstairs.
They're facilitators. That's the word I was looking
that's
for.
the word you were looking for.
Thank you.
Right. It's a real shame we've passed on from it, though,
Well,
isn't it?
Edit that back in where it should
But
be.
I appreciate the follow-up.
Yeah,
I do.
facilitators, both of them. Scum.
Upstairs, they waited for the boy, but as he still not returned, the man said to the woman, "Just go down to the cellar and see where Elsie is." Also, it's just where she is. It's nobody else.
Also, why doesn't he
Have a pop down.
just go down?
Yeah. Although if I'd asked someone to go up and get me a pint and they were taking their sweet ass time, I would just go over there myself.
Yeah, just get it myself.
So it's like, yeah, get off your ass. Not bad.
Yeah, he's the issue.
He's an issue. The woman went down and found all three in the midst of their lamentations and inquired what was the cause. Then Elsie told her that her future child was to be killed by the pickaxe when it grew big and had to draw beer and the pickaxe fell down.
Do you think even they knew by that point, this story's getting a bit repetitive?
I think they were like, we can't do it again.
Just worded it.
And I
slightly
respect
different.
that, Brothers Grimm. Thank you so much.
Self-awareness is key.
Yeah. Then said the mother likewise, "What a clever Elsie we have," and sat down and wept with them. Mother's in on it now.
Right.
Shall we see? Oh, here we go.
Crack on.
The man upstairs waited a short time, but as his wife did not come back and his thirst grew even greater, he said, "I must go down to the cellar myself and see where Elsie is." But when he got into the cellar and they were all sitting together crying, and he heard the reason, and that Elsie's child was the cause, and that Elsie might perhaps bring one into the world someday, and it might be killed by the pickaxe if it should happen to be sitting beneath it, drawing beer just at that very time when it fell down, he cried, "Oh, what a clever Elsie," and sat down and likewise wept with them. This family has issues.
For a moment there, and I don't know if it's the way you read it or the way he said it, but when you were like, might and might.
I think that's the way I read it.
Oh, I thought he was going to have I thought it was a breakthrough moment.
I think that was me having a mad at the story, to be honest. Oh, here is might do this and might do that. Just pick a lane, lad.
Blah, blah, blah.
Oh, whingy family. The bridegroom,
Hans.
I
don't know where he
He's
is.
upgraded himself. He was just a man popping round a moment ago. Now he's the bridegroom.
Well, he's a father as well, apparently.
Oh, Christ, yeah. The bridegroom stayed upstairs alone for a long time. Then as no one would come back, he thought, "They must be waiting for me below. I too... Don't I have to do this? I too must go there and see what they are about."
You don't have to do the head movement.
I have to do the head movement. It's all part of the character and I have to embody him. Also, how long had he been sat up there on his Todd?
I don't... 15 minutes, do you reckon?
Why did you pick that number from?
I imagine if everyone disappeared, if I was just going for a date at a bloke's family's house, as you do, and they all disappeared, I reckon 15 minutes is the top amount of time I'd give it before I thought, I need to go check where everyone is because it's getting weird.
15 minutes.
15 minutes. I couldn't wait longer.
Yeah.
I think that'd be uncomfortable.
Fair. When he got down, 5 of them were sitting screaming and lamenting quite piteously, each outdoing the other. "What misfortune has happened then?" he asked. You have to do the head nod. I dare you to try and do it without the head nod.
What has happened here?
See?
Oh, yes.
"Oh, dear Hans," said Elsie, "if we marry each other and have a child, and he is big, and we perhaps send him here to draw something to drink, then the pickaxe which has been left up there might dash his brains out if it were to fall down. So have we not reason to weep?" If you were that upset about a potential pickaxe falling on your fictitious child, why not move the pickaxe?
Also, if you were on a first date
Right.
and you said that,
Yeah.
you're not getting a second date.
Yeah. What would happen if, hello, person whose surname I don't know, your fictitious child of mine who I've just invented got killed?
Yeah. Like, although saying that, on my first date with my
Oh, God.
with my boyfriend, I'd gone for a fertility test that day.
Right.
Well, no, I'd got the results that day. So, like, 2 hours into it, he was like, oh, he was at the hospital. So I was like, yeah, just having a fertility test because I just want to check how many eggs are there, how long I've got. And yeah, and then I just went into like the results of the fertility test, and that was on the first date.
So you were on this first date going, just to let you know, I've literally got all my eggs in one basket. I'll put
And you are the basket.
And you are the basket.
But luckily, there's no pickaxes around here, so don't
That's
worry.
what I mean. If that's what was scaring you, just move the pickaxe.
Yeah. Although, is it too high?
Get a ladder.
Okay.
It can't be that high if somebody's used it and left it there.
You know I'm not clever Elsie, don't you?
I'm getting really angry. What? This dumb bitch, honestly.
Oh my God, the slurs.
I just can't with her.
Dumb bitch Elsie doesn't have quite the same ring to it, does it?
I know. I've never wondered why my version didn't take off.
Jesus Christ. Louise Atkinson writes fairy tales. Jesus Christ. From a
would love
padded
that.
room, apparently.
Come, said Hans. More understanding than that is not needed for my household. As you are such a clever Elsie, I will have you. And seized her hand and took her upstairs with him and married her.
Immediately.
Immediately. Dumb.
Right, okay.
I was like, do you know what? If you're that worried about our fictitious child, that proves to me you're clever. I need nothing more than that in my household. Let's go get married.
Let's go to that registry office.
Yeah. So I'm now questioning Hans a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie to you. Right. After Hans had her some time, had her like she was a cow. After Hans had her some time, he said, Wife, I'm going out to work and earn some money for us. Go into the field and cut the corn so we may have some bread. Yes, dear Hans, I will do that. After Hans had gone away, she cooked herself some good broth and took it into the field with her. When she came to the field, she said to herself, what shall I do? Shall I shear first or shall I eat first? Oh, I will eat first. She's gone back up in my estimation now.
Yeah, food
Yeah.
first, yeah.
Then she emptied her basin of broth. Oh, God, she's drinking. But who was it who did? Oh, that's like Gwyneth Paltrow. She was the one who lived off broth, wasn't she? Like burn broth.
Did she?
Yeah, it was like one of her things that after, I don't know, have
In a-
some broth and shove a candle up your vag or whatever.
I was going to say
doing.
in her fanny company.
Yeah. In a fatty company. Okay. Then she emptied her basin of broth, and when she was fully satisfied, she once more said, what shall I do? Shall I shear first or shall I sleep first? I will sleep first.
Respect.
To be fair play to the woman. She's now massively gone up in my estimation, so I'm back on board. Right?
I always think a good nap can set you up for a...
100%. I'm a big
Yeah.
napper.
Yeah, I am.
J'adore napping. Then she lay down among the corn and fell asleep. Right?
Okay.
Probably not a great place. Probably could have totted back home, but whatever. Hans had been at home for a long time, but Elsie did not come. Then said he, what a clever Elsie I have. She is so industrious that she does not even come home to eat. He sounds like a knob.
I just think they don't know what clever is.
Mm-hmm.
Clever isn't, oh, Fiona's been out for the day
Working
and
her ass off.
she's not come back to eat. Oh, well done, Fiona.
Yeah.
What a clever girl.
Yeah. As evening came, however, she still stayed away, and Hans went out to see what she had cut, but nothing was cut, and she was lying among the corn asleep.
Lazy little bitch, Elsie.
Right. Then Hans hastened home, brought a fowler's net with little bells and hung it round her, and she still went on sleeping. Now, I could tell you that the reason I know what a fowler's net is because I'm smart and I worked it out from the words. But
Googled it.
no, the reason I knew the word fowler is because recently I rewatched Chicken Run.
Oh, okay.
And the old rooster in it is called Commander Fowler. And he is like amazing. I mean, the whole film's incredible. But I was like, oh, so it's a bird thing because he's called Commander Fowler.
Fowler. Is it chicken wire?
No, it's so a fowler is a person who catches wild birds.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Okay.
So I knew it had something to do with birds. Like you have fowl, which is like poultry, and fowl and like
Yeah.
birds. So I knew fowler was like something to do with birds because of Commander Fowler from Chicken Run.
Okay. And he's put one of those nets around his wife.
He's put a net with little bells and hung it round her. And she
Okay.
just carried on sleeping. She didn't know any difference. This brother sent her snoozing.
Yeah. Okay.
Then he ran home, shut the door, and sat down in his chair and worked. At length, when it was quite dark, Clever Elsie awoke, and when she got up there was a jingling all around about her, and the bells rang at each step she took. Then she was alarmed and became uncertain whether she was really Clever Elsie or not, and said, "Is it I, or is it not I?" But she did not know the answer to this, and stood for a time in doubt. So basically, she didn't know if she's herself. For no other
I'm
reason.
baffled.
Well, as is she, because she don't even, now that she's got this weird net of bells around her neck, she's like, oh, that can't possibly be me because I didn't fall asleep with a net of bells around my neck.
And I can see that. Sometimes I wake up, you know, when you have quite a vivid dream and you wake up and you think, oh shit, I've got to get up for work, but it's the wrong.
Yeah, but I never think I'm not myself. I never wake up thinking, oh, I'm J-Lo. Like, I don't.
Sometimes I do
Sometimes.
wake up with that attitude. Give a little wiggle in the mirror.
So, is it I or is it not I? But she did not know the answer to this and stood for a time in doubt. At length she thought, I will go home and ask if it is me or not, but they will be sure to know. She ran to the door of her own house, but it was shut. Then she knocked at the window and cried, Hans, is Elsie inside? Yes, answered Hans. She is inside. Right?
This is where gaslighting came from.
This is what I thought, right? At that, she was terrified and said, oh, heavens, then it is not I, and went to another door. But when the people heard the jingling of the bells, they would not open it, and she could get in nowhere. Then she ran out of the village, and no one has ever seen her since. And that
Shut up.
is
That
the
is
end
not
of
the
the
end.
story. That's the end of the story. So most of the Brothers Grimm stuff and most of the sort of fairy tales from the European region, they mostly start of once upon a time, which is meant to refer to a really old time, and usually it's medieval times.
Okay.
So there's a potential theory here that the reason people weren't opening the door to hearing bells was in ye olde medieval times, and in Roman times actually, I think, bells were used to keep curses away.
Oh, okay.
So if she's jingling around, people are like, well, what curse is she trying to keep away? And I don't want it at my door, so I ain't opening it.
So these fairy tales you're telling me,
Mm.
do any of them have a happy ending?
Some of them might. Depends what your version of happy is.
Well, why do they all have happy endings now in the Disney ones? Why did we put happy endings on them?
Because they're more for kids, aren't they? And if you went, hiya kids, life's depressing, FYI, like, it's not. And to be honest, I don't think some of them are happy.
Also, I think from my New Year's Eve experience, they're not just for children, are they? They're for children and me. Right, so the moral of that story.
Well, hang on a minute.
Oh,
'cause-
sorry.
But yeah.
Yeah, go on.
Hold
You
your
tell
horses.
me. Shut your ears. No, shut your mouth, open your ears. All right, Louise.
Shut your
You
ears.
can't say it twice in one episode.
Because there's like multiple versions of this story.
Right.
And they're all saying so. Like I told you at the beginning, like it was in the original version of Brothers Grimm, but it was actually called Hans's Trina, which I think is short for Katrina.
Okay.
Same principle, but much shorter. In that he'd got a wife. She'd fallen asleep when she was meant to be doing housework. He came in, cut her dress up to her knees, and when she woke, she was like,
I'm a slut.
"No." She was like, "Oh, this can't be me because my dress wasn't torn." And then, what was it? She said she said joyfully or with delight, because she came back to the house and was like, is Trina in? And the household went, no, she's asleep. Well, yes, she's asleep upstairs, sorry. And she went, oh, but then it can't be me. And she ran off. So there's an idea in here that it's actually about unhappy marriages and people parting who are unhappy. And that's a way that they can do it. So maybe this is a happy ending because Elsie went off and Hans didn't have to be married to her anymore. So maybe they're more happy now. There's Hans, Trina, then there's other versions of this story, and this is one of my favourite things, from different countries. So there's one called Lazy Catherine, which is, I believe, Austrian.
I get called lazy quite a lot.
Right, Lazy Catherine specifically.
No, lazy Fiona.
The version of this story in Norway is called All Women Are Alike.
Ooh.
Where there's,
That's like not all men, isn't it?
but like, yeah,
That's a
essentially.
hashtag.
But in that one, it's a very similar premise. But then at the end, I think they end up staying together because the husband goes, what's the point of getting rid of you? All women are
I'll
alike.
just get another one like, yeah.
But my favourite one, by a million miles, is the Danish one, which is literally called How the Shoemaker Got Rid of His Hussy. right? And
Why didn't we do that one?
I mean, we could do it at a later date, but that ends, it starts with, on the edge of a great forest stood a wretched hovel wherein lived a poor shoemaker, a proper old reprobate. And whoever wrote this, I love them.
Yeah.
My kind of people. But yeah, what do you think the moral of this story is?
Oh, it's not the bit about the marriage ending for good.
No, that was just me having a bit of a chat and saying some people spoke about that.
Oh,
do you think?
okay.
What do you think the moral is?
I think the moral is don't listen to other people's opinion. Don't take other people's opinion of you as fact. Because they were like, oh, you're clever Elsie. She was like, oh, I am clever. Oh, no, I'm clever Elsie. So, because they all said it to her, she thought, oh, yeah, I'm really clever. And then when she went out in the field and then she went, oh, am I in there? And he went, no. Do you know what I mean? You know, like if you listen to the good stuff about yourself from other people, then when people say bad stuff about you, you sort of got to listen to that as well. You know, like if all the good criticism of us in comedy got to our heads, then when we get bad reviews, we'd have to equally hold on to them, wouldn't we?
This is why I don't pay any attention to any reviews.
Okay.
And I go full ostrich and put my head in the sand.
Well, I think Elsie should have gone full ostrich.
Yeah.
I think that is maybe the moral.
It's pretty. So I found two, and that's actually pretty spot on. It's basically there's a danger to having superficial praise, which you can lead to being overconfident, and you need to be fully aware of learning your own flaws.
Oh,
so fair play.
Thank you. My mum does say to me, if I decide to quit comedy, I should become a counsellor because I'm very good at human behaviour.
What a switch up.
That's what she says. So what? But again, don't listen to superficial praise. So Karen's probably wrong, isn't she?
The other one is.
Oh wait, let me give me a clue.
Oh,
give me a clue. Don't. Oh, I love a guessing game.
Think of when you started calling her anxious.
Yeah.
To do with that.
That actually she had anxiety. That's the moral of the story.
No, it's like excessive worrying can lead to ineffectiveness to complete simple tasks.
Oh, don't I know it?
And clever Elsie is with us today in the studio.
I have been trying to release some social media content for freaking months, and I haven't because I'm just a little worrywart about it. You know, yeah. There's other things I haven't done because of worrying. Like I wanted to skydive.
I've skydived.
I haven't done that. Do you know why? Because I'm too worried to. Do you know what I'm worried about?
Dying?
No, shit in my pants and then having to give back the jumpsuit.
Dying would be more preferable.
But don't you think the other one...
Giving back the jumpsuit, the specificity of it, not just shaking your pants going, I'm so sorry.
If you shit yourself, then you can just... You know, if you've ever gone out and shit yourself and you just put the stuff in the bin. But if you've got to hand it back and say, thank you for the skydiving experience, that's just awful, isn't it?
I love your entire situation of this. Of you're handing it... First of all, you think that you'd hand it over and not put it in a bin and run away. Then you're going and handing it back and going...
Lose my deposit.
You're not in any way saying what's happened. You just go, thank you so much for the experience. Hand back a shit bag, basically, of cloth. And then go, thank you so much for your time. And leave.
It's like when I had a colonic. Did I tell you about that?
No.
I had a colonic and I blocked the tube. And she was like, I'm going to remove this tube from your bumhole. Run. So I ran. And then I just put my clothes back on after whatever. And then at the door, I just went, is it okay to tip you? I looked her dead in the eye because I didn't know what else to say to that woman.
Hang on, what did she mean? Pull the tube and run? What, like you were going to go like a balloon? Like, what's going on there?
Yeah, they put a tube up your bum.
I know that, but I didn't think it was pull tube and run.
It isn't normally, but when you block the tube...
Oh my God.
That she said I've never experienced this before. And I didn't ask any questions.
You asked to tip her.
Well, what else
Get yourself a new tube, sweetheart.
What else do you say?
Thank you for your time. Goodbye.
No. Thank you for your time. Sorry for ruining your day and your life.
Sorry I blocked your tube. That's the end of the story.
Okay, well, I would have called it Anxious Elsie.
Yeah.
And I think I just don't know if the worrying one is correct.
Even though you've just admitted that it happens to you on a
it
regular
happens
basis,
to me all the time.
and that you don't want it to happen to you.
But if it was about the worrying, they would have called it Worrying Elsie or Anxious Elsie, whereas it was like the Brothers Grimm didn't realise about that subtext.
It was almost like the title was sarcastic and ironic.
Oh, I don't get irony.
You don't say.
And I don't get subtext. So if they're all going to be like that.
I need to spell it out clearer. All right. I'll get Hans to
Yeah,
get
next
it.
time you read the title.
Oh,
you
hello,
go,
Fiona. We spell it out for you, yeah? Good stuff.
next time you read the title, it needs to be like, Clever Elsie.
Yeah. Tschüss.
Please like and subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, or wherever it is that you get your podcasts. And follow us on TikTok and Instagram at Be Fairy Afraid Pod. Thanks for listening.